Okay, so I had 16 different expenditures for my business in 2024. I'm gonna get myself something to drink and then we're gonna go through them line by line. Alright, so let's go in alphabetical order. I am going to break down everything that I've spent my money on that I can deduct in my taxes, to be clear. And this is just to give you some insight because obviously I made the video where I talked about the tens of thousands of dollars that I made as a YouTube creator and coach. But of course I spent some money to make that money, and I want to give you a sense of what you might be spending money on too. First thing is Adobe. So I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my videos. I've thought about going to DaVinci or something else where it's just a single payment versus the monthly payments that I pay with Adobe of $22.99. But so far, Adobe's got a hold on me. And this year I spent $275.88. Next we have Airload data. So I live in Mexico right now, and the apartment I used to live in had trash Wi-Fi to the point where I needed to actually buy data so that I could use the internet in my own home. Also, I use a Google Fi phone. We're gonna get to that one in a bit. And you can't actually live overseas like that without without them cutting your phone off. Learn that the hard way. Next we have Best Buy. So I bought these Bluetooth microphones, like a set from Best Buy. I bought them back in April. They cost me $238.18. Have not used them once, but I did test them last night and I figured out how they work, and it gets me really excited because I think I could do some vlog content. Next we have Bunker Co-working. Because my Wi-Fi wasn't working for those couple of months, I ended up joining a co-working space. I tend to be pretty introverted, so it's so easy for me to spend a lot of time inside. And having a co-working space meant I had a dedicated place where I could go to and just get that human interaction that I otherwise might go without. And so I ended up spending $348. Next, we have Calendly. So I use Calendly to schedule the calls with my coaching clients. You have to pay to do a one-on-one call with me. So if you want to get free support, there's always Hello Creator, Wednesdays at noon. And what I love about Calendly is you can integrate Stripe into the calendar hold so people can pay directly as they're booking time with you. And that's the thing about spending money on your business. If it's gonna help make you more money, don't be stingy. It's gonna come right back to you. Next, we have Canva. I pay for the annual subscription. I love Canva, highly recommend. I leveraged free tools for a while before I actually invested in Canva. I actually used Google Slides to make my thumbnails for the first few years of YouTube. And for a while, I just did the free version of Canva. And then it got to the point where I wanted to have a higher quality. I wanted more features. I wanted more fun. In addition, I use Canva when I'm supporting my coaching clients. So I create these like really beautiful strategy documents for them, and I like to use Canva to make it look all pretty. Next, we have ChatGPT. So in the beginning of the year, I was using the paid version of ChatGPT. I fell off because I found that the free version was good for me, but I promise I am back on it. Like, I am back on ChatGPT in a real way. It has genuinely been so helpful. I am weeping, I'm crying real tears. This is one of those investments that I would not be surprised if I start paying for it next year. But so far this year, it's only been $100. Next, we have my biggest expenditure for the entire year, which was Flax marketing. I spent $2,400 on what was essentially business/YouTube coaching. Now, as someone who is a coach, I do highly recommend reaching out for support when you need it. And do it when it's within your budget. Otherwise, you're putting all of this pressure on the support to have a return on investment. Ideally, you will have a return on investment anyway, and I think I did. They gave me a ton of really supportive feedback. And there's so much that I got in addition to the experience of, you know, both of my coaches were male. So whenever I'm being supported by the masculine energy, I feel like that's always a gift. So I got so much out of that coaching. And I am in credit card debt because of how many programs and services and trainings that I have spent money on when I didn't have cash to pay for it with. And it was actually looking at my numbers and really seeing it laid out like this that I was able to catch myself from doing it again. Because I was all ready to, like, in January buy another program, and I was like, girl, Next we have Google Fi, where I've spent approximately $512. I haven't gotten my December bill yet. Obviously I use my phone for personal matters, but I also use it to vlog, to call clients, to answer emails, things like that. So I'm gonna use half of that money and I'm gonna write it off on taxes. Next we have Google Storage. It's been $45.07. And I use a lot of data when it comes to using my phone to record content. I also record all of my coaching calls with clients, so they have it for their records and for mine as well. And that takes up a lot of space because these are like hour-long, 90-minute long calls. And I'm storing all of that on my Google Drive, and I pay $199 a month so that I can have that storage. Oh, it got so dark. Okay, we'll persevere. Will we? Will we persevere? No. We won't. All right. Next we have Intuit. I was using Intuit to help manage my business and personal spending. You can sync all of your accounts to Intuit and sort out what goes where. Super duper helpful. But since being here in Mexico, my banks have not been able to sync. And so I actually had to manually create this chart, which I actually found super duper helpful, and as a result, canceled Intuit, right? Now I did use them to pay my taxes, and I'll probably use them again in 2025. That's what accounts for that really big payment in March, where it goes up to $230. Otherwise, it's about $20, $25 a month, and in total I've spent $445.64. Next, we have a single payment to Microsoft for $74.19. So the consulting I do involves doing presentations where I'm using PowerPoint decks. Next, we have Squarespace. So I host my website with Squarespace. And again, this is why we pay money for the things that help us make money. So even though I consistently pay them $30, it's super duper worth it because that's where I host my Calendly. It's where I direct people who are interested in doing coaching. Definitely an investment worth making. I think there are certain services and businesses where you don't necessarily need a website in the beginning. But for me, I really appreciate the professionalism it adds. This is not a Squarespace sponsorship, but one day I'm calling it in. I use vidIQ for additional analytics on my YouTube channel, but what I really like about vidIQ is that it lets you be in other people's business. So you can go on other YouTube channels and you can see the thumbnails they've used in the past, you can see the tags they've used, you can see, you know, which videos of theirs are doing particularly well compared to the average. Anytime anyone leaves a comment across YouTube, you can see how many subscribers they have. So it's just a great way to be nosy. So highly recommend it. We'll almost certainly re-up in the new year when it's time for that $60 annual payment. And then finally we have Zoom. I love Zoom. So I pay for Zoom so that I can have calls longer than 40 minutes with my coaching clients. We have calls that are an hour to 90 minutes. And then I also host the Hello Creator Weekly Creator Roundtables on my Zoom. So again, it has been totally worth it considering how much money I have made from my clients and from my consulting work. And I currently pay $15.99 a month, which means I have paid about $191.88 this year for Zoom. So with all of that in total, I have spent $5,629 on my business, on my YouTube, on my coaching. Now there are a bunch of sunk costs that I invested in before this year, so things like buying the camera, SD cards, things like that. I'm feeling really, really grateful given how much money I've made and really, really excited about next year bringing in even more and yeah, profit.
We love to profit.
All right, I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was. Let me know if you have any other questions about my finances as a creator. Happy to share it with you. Again, hang out with me every Wednesday at noon Eastern time if you want some creative community and some free coaching. And if you want some one-on-one paid coaching, you can go on my website, hosted by Squarespace, and use Calendly to book a call, and we can get this money flowing. All right, thank you, Patreon people. Bye.